India is very small. So that's why all the SaaS businesses were actually focusing on Western market versus Indian market.
Yes.
Because the Indian market was non-existent, right?
Yeah.
Can we think or hope that will bypass the SaaS revolution and directly go into AI revolution?
To bring you to connect your analogy, a lot of Indians are always want to own something.
Correct.
Like,
ownership thing.
Ownership. We have an ownership mentality. Right?
Yeah.
Even if you say, rent it, I want to buy it. Agentic interface, you can now afford a solution that you can deploy at a cost. We are going to be in that world where we will have hundreds and thousands of agentic softwares are created for users on their own way. There will be somebody who will create for it or find out a way to create for it. But I will have to go to the market. I will have to deploy that, own it, optimize it, improve it, customize it for my business segment, and I'm going to live with it.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the next episode of FounderAI Stories. Today we will be meeting our co-host Rashmi Ranjan and our special guest Santosh Panda. Hey Rashmi and Santosh, welcome to this podcast.
Hi Satya, thanks for having me here again.
Hi Satya, hi Rashmi. Fantastic to have to be with you guys.
Santosh, welcome to this FounderAI Stories, where we'll be deep diving about how founders are leveraging AI. Just a trivia, we have known Santosh since long, and Santosh is a very active member in Bangalore startup community. He has mentored a lot of startups and our founders like us, and he has been a guiding force for us for a long time. And today we have an opportunity to talk and understand that how his journey has been shaped by this recent AI splurge that is happening around. So Santosh, you started your entrepreneurial journey in 2007, long before startups were called the startups. How was it? What was your thought process and how did it evolve?
Sure. So great. Thanks for having me here, first and foremost. Wonderful to see this initiative because we are in the very early days of AI. So I was thrilled when you, sort of said, hey, we would love to have you there. Now to come back to 2007, right? 2007 could be, in a way you could map the kind of confusions, the kind of excitement that is there right now in the AI world, even in the Web3 world. In a similar way, a lot of people were excited about what's coming in 2007, but the lack of clarity was plenty, right? There was nothing such you could say, how do you even go about doing a startup? What does mean to run a business? And because that's the first set of people coming. Yes, you have Sanjeev Bikhchandani's of the world and many other ones were built in 2000s of the world. But then only a few, right? You didn't have hundreds of startups getting started, right? Between 2000 to 2007 timeframe, let's say, even if it's 20, 30, 40, right? So I think for me, the call was definitely to become and I knew that I want to be starting up something. And I kind of took a leap of faith saying that the world is going to move fastest in the startup side of the world, because when I was living in London, I was actively part of a lot of London startup network. Literally, the Open Coffee started in London, and I could be first few members in that, right, way back in 2003, 4, 5. So I was out and out, going to Thursday, Open Coffee, meeting people, and I was mapping India, and I was surely knowing that if India is to take off in a big way, startup is the only way that all of us are going to see. Right? So that was my sort of connections to say it's a great time to build. Only overlooking the fact that the market creation might not be at the same speed that I thought there is a opportunity for startup. Right? So literally all of us are seeing that for startup to really come in as a real powerful segment, it took 4, 5, 6 years before 2010, 2011, when we saw the Freshworks of the world, the Flipkarts of the world, right? Others started really taking a good step. So I would say leap of faith by looking at a global scope of saying there is an opportunity, a new opportunity, and a new tech has come in. And we are all, right? We are all tech guys. So we understand the power of tech. We see the business problem statement that's happening around us for all you and Rashmi and Equal. So I was seeing that the technology is mature. You can something launch today that would have taken maybe a year or a year and a half earlier. The web technology is mature, so you can launch a business quickly with a less cost to the market, right? What market will be cheaper or relatively cost control. So those are the sort of pointers for me to take a leap of faith. But I think maybe in a hindsight, I think it is better I should have started in 2012. Sorry.
Hind
Hindsight is 2020 because, in a way, I've realized, I've come to a realization much later, not now, much later, that when a new market comes, it's better to observe the trend, better to align your market creation trend also, whether this is going to be really demand, whether the market dynamics are going to change, and then jump in.
Right.
We as entrepreneurs, sometimes we don't control, the adrenaline, right? In the sense, we want to do it. We just want to do it. Well, we are so rebel in a way, right? Sometimes we overlook our own assumptions and we just jump in. Right? So I think, but it's a great, it is how it is, right? It's a cycle of many creating, some failing, some succeeding, some coming back. I think that's a cycle that you have to be in. You can't just define saying, oh, I want 2012 and I'm going to just succeed like anything. It is not certain as.
Absolutely. I think you were right.
So there is one thing that I was talking to someone recently, and I was talking on this subject, right? So if we take startups journey or the operations, you can say like there are 10 to 12 different functions that the startup has to do. It is like finance being one, product being another, tech being one thing, marketing, sales, operations, and so on. It is often what happens is, as we are first-time entrepreneurs, first-time startup, we start focusing on, okay, we'll do new or innovation or try to do something different on all of these areas. But the success, if you see, like if we think of like there is a complicated system running, and these are all levers that we are having that we can move. And if you move this, then things will go faster, break, whatever, right? And we're experimenting different things. It might be more prudent with hindsight, like you said, that we control one lever and keep all the other constant as much as possible, right? For that matter, for example, let's say we are talking about, you said 2012 for better and better, right? Now, one of the levers which you are probably trying to evaluate, fix was also market. At the same time, product. Tech was there in a new shape and form, but product and market were definitely there. Funding was not well announced, not that available in the Indian ecosystem back then. So there are too many levers at play, right, that you have to balance as a founder. Now, as hindsight, as we go bigger, we are trying to say, okay, what all can we keep constant or keep at a place that it is already solved, where we don't have to reinvent or do anything, and then just focus on one thing that we can do better. If it is let's say, a Me Too copycat product, then you don't have to do the product, but you focus on the market side of things. If it is a new product, then you try to do the same marketing things that others are doing and just focus on trying to find the right product fit, right? I think that as a mental model is something that I am starting to apply more and more as we go along right now. Like, how many levers are we trying to operate here? Is it one lever? Is it two levers? Is it three levers, right? And what you're saying is essentially I'm trying to fit it into this mental model maybe, or it actually fits it properly. But you are saying that there is one market as a lever, and you cannot do that more often. And I think that 2007 to 2012 was that journey for you. And we see the same journey happening in Web3 today. We see probably another journey on Web3 is on the tech side. The tech is not evolved yet, right? Product, people are creating the same product every time. Let's say a DeFi product or a similar product, then the risk on product goes down because you know what to build. But then you have to focus on the market side of things. How big is the market growing? How is the funding? The funding is a lever right now on Web3 as well. You don't have funds available. So it's a very difficult battle, right? So I wanted to touch upon one question which I had here while you mentioned. Started very early, 2007. I think you also have witnessed to a certain extent the journey of .com era, the wild, wild west when everything was going. You might not have participated in it, but you have seen it from a distance. Sure. You've seen the growth of startup journey in India. Then there was a mobile wave, the mobile app waves, right? Which was there between 2014, 2015 into that time. Now you are in a third phase or fourth phase in learning where you're seeing a Web3 and AI, new technology wave, right?
Yes.
Like, how do you see this? Like, I know that I have this feeling that I missed out on the mobile. I should have done something on the mobile. So hence I jumped onto Web3, but it was a little early, but I'm still optimistic about Web3. So how do you see this? And then now, how do you tell to founders, like, how do they go forward for these kind of taking new bets in these areas per se?
Yeah. So I think fantastic question, right? So as you rightly said, even if in the world of industrialization and everything else, we see there is always a wave that takes us. And then we get a lot of supplementing factors in terms of right appetite for users to adopt enough money to sustain a new takeoff, right? Or otherwise you keep going in that wave all the time, up and down, because some factors are not, which is what happened with Web3, right? We are already 10 years and we are still in that wave of going up, down. And because there is a factor of not so much of confidence coming out either from the investors or from the users or from the market. So we are always in there, right? So we at Foundership, we definitely, when somebody comes with an idea, we always go back and map it to say, what's your 2 to 3 levels, as you rightly said, right? Okay, are you bringing some differentiation that you have some deeper understanding in a domain, and this domain has not been solved, but can be done in a way that the user is going to seamlessly find it, a great experience. Okay, we can talk about it. Are you also trying to open to a little market segment, which might not be crypto, but might have to open a door to a new segment without literally throwing the entire tech on their face? Abstraction, right? How do you, and you don't have to really go out from, and we know, Rashmi, that you cannot simply move from one segment to a very different segment and say, oh, it's going to work. It doesn't work. We all know it, right? That's one of the biggest sort of failure, right? You need to find the adjacent segment that might be giving you a market share and a market understanding while everybody else has but adjacent segment.
Right.
When you talk about new sort of, world of Web3 or AI, let's say, right? So if you have an existing, can you take that and say, okay, I'll play this, I'll create an AI tool, but I'll just go and target that adjacent segment and see what am I going to get it, and then I'm going to open that segment. So we look at those 2 or 3 levers to say, is your market size going to change? Are you defining a problem statement that has been looked in a different way? You are looking in a different way, right? Second, do you have enough ability to talk about it and create an authority around it? And because a lot of times we are able to find a adjacent segment, we are able to find enough twist to the problem statement that somebody else has not looked in that way. But then you don't have an authority to go and talk about it or play it out. And it's harder because, look, ultimately, if you look at an Airbnb or a Dropbox, there are truly new market creations where the founders or the founding members could really talk about what are they doing and why this is going to be a differentiator in the game. Hence, Me Too rolled out. No way to get into Me Too, because in Web3 you cannot do Me Too today. You're just going to crash your token price like anything, right? And whether you are able to sustain with a authority play are those 2 or 3 things that we look at. When we are able to guide people to say, okay, look, we've seen the .coms to mobile, to kind of new .com stacks, and then the Web3. We are also able to bring those insight to say, let's look at 3 or 4 things before we go and engage more time to work with.
Got it.
So Santosh, like interesting points that you have brought up about this like levers using, and how do founders use those levers to enter this market. So that brings up to the interesting part of foundership. We have heard a lot like how foundership has played crucial roles in guiding founders to find the true journey and unlock their true potential. Can you maybe let us know, like, how did you come up with that idea? It's an interesting concept of having an accelerator for Web3 space, and we have been hearing about that. What was your thought process behind it? And you have also worked on Explara before that, where you have immense experience of the startup. What was the genesis behind this foundership story? We are all excited to hear about it.
So I think, foundership came as a experiment, literally, right? Because after running Explara for so long, right, I had one option is to go back and start a startup again, right? And the other one is to reflect what else is going to give me 10 years of. So I do everything decades, right? I don't do anything. And so if I fail in decade. If I succeed, I'm going to do triple in decade. So that's my philosophy. I have no regret at all. I'm going to be open about it, which has not helped Explorer, by the way, but that's a different question. So I think, playing in a decade, I was saying that what would I do that would really literally not get me bogged down in 3 years' time saying, what am I doing? And I have realized, all of us have realized, whether it is a sexy headline on a newspaper or a sexy celebration inside, it is the same effort. Let's be honest about it. You're building a school that you have to make $1 million. Whether you want to take the next Swiggy and get $1 million first, right? It is the same effort, right? It all depends upon your execution differentiation into that. But the hardship is there. People are not going to believe you. Some people are going to support you. A lot of people will pull the plug. All that is going to happen. And so I knew that is going to happen. Third thing is the market size. That has been a realization between 2007, and I realized that India is not going to scale on the event side, no matter whatever I do and whatever format. Right? So I realized that if I take a startup, it's going to be the same effort, same amount of struggle, and the same amount of 3 years you're going to spend it. No matter whatever people say or not, by the time you start a startup and close down a startup, it's 3 years.
It's an average.
It takes average, right? Whether you don't tell it to anybody, it takes because you have to close down paper, everything, unwind your mind, and then get ready. It's 3 years, right? So if you take all that into account in the market search, I realized that I do not have the prediction of what an idea that I can truly say this market size is big today. And an accelerator is something that was already surrounded. I was surrounded by people who were running accelerators, who were talking about it. Helping founders was out and out my sort of passion. Even today, anybody thinks it, I would spare time. And then during the 2020, I was running Grittiest, a small initiative to say that if you are a second tier, third tier city founder, you might not have the right mentor support. So come and book my calendar. So that's where I got around 100, 170 people coming and booking my calendar. That gave me a reflection to saying that maybe this is an area I should spend time. And different problem statement, I am able to, and I need something to consume me, actually, to be honest about it. Right? No problem. And it's very difficult to contain me if there is no challenge all the time.
Right.
So I said, this could be the interesting thing, right? Because here is a founder who challenges my challenge. Here is another founder who challenges my challenge equally. So, and I'm able to learn a lot because I'm literally, so picky and so paranoid about learning new things. So those were the 2-3 factors that came in. And then during the 2020 December, Bimles and I, when we were brainstorming, he was doing similar pitch camp where he was helping founders to pitch their story, pitch their narratives, helping B2B SaaS founders to figure out how to transform a founder to become a sales guy, right? Because we knew, all of us, you knew that a lot of people were building SaaS tools, but they were not sure how to sell it out.
Correct.
Right? So the kind of chemistry matched there, saying that, okay, you're doing something, we're doing something. Why didn't we do an experiment, right? So that's where January 2021, we came with a simple experiment to say, let's invite founders for a 30-day cohort and say, what problem statement do you have? We do not know. You know about it. Let's open and work together to address if that problem statement is going to truly open your growth. So when we were doing that experiment, 30 days we did run, January to May, June, and then we said, okay, look, this is not going to make money. It's great karma. You cannot do it as an edtech because we are not edtech guys. We had partners coming in saying, we'll give you some money. Why did you run it? We realized that is low. And then we said, okay, why don't we go back and do something on the SaaS acceleration? And so we also did a batch announcing somewhere in August 2021. We got around 7 startups doing it. Not of highest quality, right? Because you coming at you might be one of the first few earliest founder, but then you are coming to the market later. So always respect the market, right? You never go, right? Either you have a way to create a market some way, or you have the foresight, but otherwise respect the market. So we respected the market, and that's where we went out and met a lot of our great guys in the ecosystems, successful founders and angels. Like, for example, we went rather than saying, hey, we are doing this SaaS accelerator. What do you think about it? We met our dear friend Khadim saying, hey, we are doing this. And we met Palla, we met bunch of Pallam Nadani, we met bunch of people. All of them say, don't do SaaS. Right? Great. You played out a great role, but that's the rule. Because you're going to be coming as the last man standing in this game. And there is no way you're going to attract high quality. Right? I think what us to think about. And then at the end of the 2020, and during this time, crypto is coming back. Big way.
Yeah.
Everything is happening.
The second wave.
Yeah. So I was just watching in this site because, so to give you a connecting block, way back in 2016-17, when Explorer was running, I think Vitalik was in Mumbai and the event was powered by Explorer. Right?
Wow.
He's still there.
Nice.
So that event got me a lot of other people coming and saying blockchain events happening. I said, what is this event? Because I had a friend of mine who was bringing out of London to that event to India. He said, Santosh, I'm powering it on Explorer. And then I had a 2-minute chat saying that what's happening. She said, it's a new tech, new thing. You should read about it. And I'd never read about it. And I just left it saying, okay, I heard something. And then I saw a lot of people coming and doing blockchain conference in 2017. So that's where I went. Thanks to Rashmi, participated in a lot of ICOs, right? And then, we have been there. I've been there in the system, right? But observing more like ICOs, white papers. So in 2021, the dots, I told Wimless that, hey, SaaS has its own lifeline. Why don't we do a simple cohort, bringing Web2 founders and bringing Web3 founders and leaders to talk about the power of Web3 tech. So we did a 45-day cohort in September, October of 2021. We invited Nikhil Pava, Medianama founder, Pallav Nadani, bunch of, you name the best guys. We said, guys, you think crypto is just sit? Come, be here. And we got all the Web3 guys saying that why need to teach the tech part of it? Don't talk about any token, any coin. Just talk about tech. By the end of that call, people came back and saying, Santosh, we are saying SaaS accelerator, I think you guys should do Web3 accelerator. And some of them even said, if you do Web3 accelerator, we're going to fund you.
Very nice.
That's where I said, okay, that's a hit, right? Because if we are doing something meaningful, people are thinking that there is a power in the tech and people will be willing. Overnight, we change everything. The foundation remains same. The foundership model has not changed. It's just that we could fit into Web3 market. And that's the transition that brought us to Web3.
Very nice. Very interesting story. So, Santosh, like one of the things that I really picked up from this discussion was the timing. You need to know at what timing is you are currently at. Like, is it in the market is a mature state, at the beginning state, or the later state? And based on the timing and the headwinds, you decide what should be the strategy and how do you pivot to it. So that's an essential point. And now today the wave is of AI. Like there is everywhere. It's also bringing in, it's leveraging AI and making its best. So we have also seen that there is a camp that you are learning, the 0x camp, where you are also telling Web3 founders how to use and leverage AI to build about their next startup and all. Where do you think that this is going and what is the benefits of it?
Sure. Fantastic question. I think if you look at the 0x camp, that's an accelerator program, right, out, from Foundership, where we invite founders to come and be part of that 12 weeks, where you take your startup from a stage of some traction to a fundable stage, right? So you get 50K, 100K funding. Now, if you look at AI is, as Rashmi queried the other time, like mobile, AI is going to come as a super form factor for everything. Whether you are building out a tool, whether you are launching a program, whether you are teaching people, you're doing everything. AI is going to be part and parcel of our life. There is no second thought about it. Right? So now in Web3, one of the biggest issue is that the landscape is not clear yet. The landscape is not easy to jump in and say, I'll start using the tech, the product, the solution that you're giving me right away. There is definitely friction. You say, oh, what is it? What are you throwing at me? It's almost, what are you throwing at me? It's not like, oh, can I just click something? What are you throwing at me? Right? It comes that way. I'm not talking about DJs. I'm talking about normal people. If you want to go and say, Satya, hey, here is a great website and go and play it out. There is a friction, right? Because there is a new language, there is a new culture, there is a new
correct.
So there is, there is that sort of thing. So that now AI comes out as a sort of really godsend, because you could say, don't do anything. There is an agent for it. Just interact with the agent and get going.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
Now that could reduce everything that we were throwing at a user, because look, 2 years from now, all of us are going to have the same way. Just interact, just talk to the agent, right? Or ask the agent, or let the agent do things for you. That's going to be the lingo everywhere. Right? So if that is going to be lingo, then all of us, irrespective of whether you are in Web 2, Web 3, crypto, non-crypto, anywhere, agentic interfaces are going to be the norm for as the world evolved. So that's where we are encouraging our founders to think AI first.
Correct.
They abstract the problem statements, leverage the AI power wherever you have a data, or wherever you can get hold of synthetic data or get hold of some data, and then blockchain is producing terabytes of data. So, and it's so hard problem statement also there, right? Because you have multiple chains, cross chain, bridges, whatnots, right? So at that stage, AI comes out as a great way to take it to next level. One. Second, the way we saw the world, right? Are you a software first business? Or are you not? That's it. If you are not a software as a first business, then you are like, boss, you cannot operate. You will not be able to compete, because your cost of running that business is so high and it's so inefficient that you will be just out of business in 8, 9 months, 12 months. Right?
Absolutely.
Even if you're running a small business out of Shopify, you're better off than you're saying, oh, I don't know how to. Right? So similarly, if you don't do AI in the next 9, 10, 12 months, right, you would be literally, in fact, your first experience, user experience is not there, right? We're going to say, my user experience starts with AI. Taking all that into account is what we are encouraging founders to think AI first, and then bring the solution, bring the sort of startups in that. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. I
So-
think this is really interesting. Yeah.
A very interesting point you made. AI as a form factor. Laptop, web browser as a form factor, mobile as a form factor. Now you're saying AI is a form factor, not a technology, right?
Technology.
That's a very interesting point, and I think I have heard it for the first time that AI is a form factor, not just a back-end technology, right? And I thinking on that point, I think everywhere we are actually seeing AI getting into different areas, be it on laptop, be it on mobile, be it on any chatbot or anything, but it is coming as a form factor more than just as the response.
Yes.
That's a very interesting
That's
way
it.
to look at AI.
In fact, in the future robotics world also, we will have AI as a form factor, because it is going to understand you. It is going to interact with you. It is going to react to you. Right?
Interesting.
So you will not see AI, but it is that form factor that we are going to now go into and say, how are you interacting? I'm interacting with an AI.
Yeah, it's the agentic AI that you would be interacting, the agents, which will help you to adopt or onboard or probably help you to bridge the gap. Correct.
You don't even have to think.
That's amazing. So this gets us to the state, like, what are some AI tools that you are using? I think you have been investing your time, and in our private chats, you have told a lot of different tools that you have used, different areas that you're using. How is that you see which part of your life, which part of your startup journey are getting replaced or getting accentuated, leveraged by AI today? What have you used so far?
Yeah. So a couple of things, right? Again, all of us are discovering tools at an epic pace. We should be more, right? Every week there are a bunch of tools being thrown at us. But I think that's the wonderful part. Right? The wonderful part of it, there are so much of things happening. So I would say my recent love is definitely two tools. One of them is napkin.ai, which I think a lot of people are following it. And there's another one which I was talking recently called Letterly. Letterly.
Okay, literally.
Yeah. Letterly is a very simple tool. So a lot of us, we just get a burst of, quick thought comes to our play, right? We were working, suddenly something came to our, either we're going to document it or we're going to leave that thought. Similarly, we are walking, we get a thought, we are going around, we get a thought. So you open Letterly, you talk to it, right? Whatever you're thinking, just talk to it. Because if you don't record, like our mind operates in a very different. If you don't record what you just now had a insight, it's going to get into your subconscious sometime, and you don't know when you're going to get it back again, right?
Correct.
Can you open literally and talk to it? Just talk to it in a raw form, right? And then keep it. And then when you're ready to publish, just say, or even you want to do a real time publish, record it and say, okay, this is in relation to this. My audience is on X, my audience is in LinkedIn, my audience is in Instagram, my audience is in newsletter. Help me gathering, sort of inputs around this thought, and you've got a ready to post content, or you got a ready to deep dive a little bit more if you want to do a newsletter, right? If you're doing a simple post, it corrects you, it gives you a nice sort of thing. It understands your tone over time, right? Because you have to train it over time, and then it starts posting on your page. So literally is that tool. I love it. I love Napkin for the fact that I cannot read a book, or I cannot read it 3 pages without seeing pictures, right? So I read somewhere, right? You either give me a whiteboard, right? We always have a whiteboard. I always carry a whiteboard, literally. I'm a whiteboard guy, right? Wherever you move me, I'm going to carry my whiteboard. Now, how do you do a whiteboard in the world that we are in? We are so glued to our com and mobile. Napkin comes out as my whiteboard, where I fit in a bunch of things that I'm going to read, and it's going to help me quickly articulate that individually, so I can take a note, I can take a picture in my mind, and I'm done. I know that I understand this concept, what they are talking, right? Without going there. So I love Napkin. I love Claude, right? Rashmi asked, where am I using it, right? For example, if I'm coaching my team Explore, I have to say, hey, why didn't you guys think about it? Or here is the tool. So literally today, and I think somebody, I don't know, either Sama talked about it or somebody talked about it, single individuals creating $1 million startups are possible is what I think I quoted, right? So I think that's the possibility, right? So I'm just going to take Cloud in this example, ChatGPT, but yeah, whichever tool you are using. For me, I've come to realization that at an accelerator level also, we are guiding our founders. How do you do a GT? How do you start when you have an idea, what's your process to all there to launch it? Right? We have a playbook, right? Now that playbook is what we've been guiding our founders since 2021.
Correct.
Right? Saying, why don't I play it in an AI way? Right? So, for example, I pick up a thesis to say, look, in the world of mobile, people are starting every day on a messenger app, whether it's a WhatsApp or a Telegram. Right? So if that's the case, I think here is the world that is going to evolve in the next 2 years' time. And here are my best arguments for it. I put that out to Cloud. Cloud comes back. I put that into Perplexity, in fact, saying what's going on. So Perplexity gives me a bit of data. I go out that to Cloud and saying, hey, that's my thesis. This is my data. Right? What else you see the patterns in other ones, right? So Cloud gives me a little bit more. And now that loop gets in going to say, thesis, if this is thesis, how will it play out? What's the market size? What does Perplexity say market size is? What are the other sources coming out? Now, if this is the market size, how do I go about doing a survey? If I do a survey, who could be using this sort of, who are the right segment for this kind of thesis? Okay, here are the 4 or 5 ones. What are the related ones? Right? What are the other things these guys are using? You got it from very beginning, from a thesis to all the way to research, to all the way to get the ICPs, and then saying what other segments could come. And you can go all the way to landing page. You can go all the way to, creating survey forms.
Mm-hmm.
You can go all the way to create your email that you're going to send it out to Satya, saying, Satya, here is my thesis. Here's what I think the problem statement is. Are you able to relate to it? Now, that in my, when I was experimenting, when I was literally taking out and throwing an idea and I helped the team, it took me, because I did a lot of to and fro round trip about it, because look, there's a downside of AI also, that you can get consumed yourself when you say, I am great and I'm doing all of it. Right? You need to benchmark, go back, talk to customers, come back, review your thesis. You have to do that. You cannot simply get into a tool and say, oh yeah, the AI is God. AI is not God. AI is its own.
It's a tool. It's a helper.
AI is its own set of, planets, right? the god of that planet might be different. So you have to go back and say, so I did that the entire thing in 7 days. If
Oh,
you have a
awesome.
team, with the marketing team, with your email guys, with your copy, with your designer, with your only template developer, all that, even if you take into account, it's going to take you at least 4 or 5 weeks to even get them on the same page.
Correct.
I think that is the beauty on the cloud that I got it. Right? So Perplexity, Cloud, Napkin, Letterly, and then bunch of other tools. I use another tool which helps me to create quickly illustrations. Right? Forgot the name. It helps me to use quickly illustrations on the fly. I have been using my go-to usage has been again recently presentation.ai. Before that, gamma.app. So gamma is
Yeah.
a right? You just throw it out, and like my son uses it in 2 minutes to get a take out. The moment I gave him an idea, right? So out of all of these bunch of tools, which is designed well productive, but I use also Notion AI. Notion has an AI built in,
Hey.
so I also get Notion AI to look at and say, okay, let me know what are the things. And I have a huge resource which I keep referring it. So I think AI is now part and parcel of just discovery and find the right tool and then make use of
Yes, absolutely. I think this is the key trick remains that how do you effectively use these tools to work in cohesion with each other. What you have said is a really good insight because in my experience also, like I've been using Perplexity Pro and as well as Claude's Anthropic API to you create my positioning, come up with an idea, thesis, I mean learn about the new findings that are there. Recently, like we have seen that the launch of deep research, the
it.
reasoning part. So that is also another kind of a insight that is coming up, wherein more and more benefits are given to the founders to do a research specifically, build a thesis around it rather than actually going and reading multiple thesis paper and coming up with one analogy to do that. I think this is the trick remains. How do you effectively use those tools and best way to frame your thoughts and come to a understanding in a faster way? That is the trick that remains.
So I want to deep dive. I want to deep dive on one of the points that you mentioned. You are essentially telling your founders and accelerators to use a playbook, the idea to launch playbook that you mentioned here, right? Starting with an idea that how do you take it to actually going out to the market. Now, is this a set of prompts that you give to the founders to do it this way, or you are saying that or your set of steps, tasks that you're giving? So how are you transferring this data to the founders now?
Yeah. So to the founders now, it's going to be definitely a set of instructions, I would say. Not prompt because we don't know what exactly their prompts are going to be. I also, Rashmi, will also relate to this that there is theory and there is in practice, right? So the theory is that, hey, this is how you do it, but then you have to really play it out, right? As we just now had that conversation, right? So if you think AI knows everything, you might be getting into a loop of just self-supporting your belief. That's also a big issue, right? And we've seen that happens even in real life. All of us as founders, right? We get carried away by an idea because we support it so much. And in the AI, you're going to get blindfolded like anything because you're going to tell it to just behave the way you want to behave. Right? You're going to give supporting informations. You're going to give all the reasonings, almost making it believe that you're right. There is some sort of so I think the learning here has to be that you have to play it out by gathering data, countering it, asking why do you think this is the case? Why isn't the other way around? So I think those things is where you have to put an instructions. To be honest about it, we have not put it as a cloud instruction or a charge instructions. At the moment, we were just playing it out. This is one example. I think when Bimlesh is playing it out quite a bit too. But to answer your question, this is going to be the way fast forward for founders to come and say, hey, how do I get started? Here is the instruction. Why don't we be with you? Right? So you better off taking a person and say, play the role of non-believer. And you take somebody else saying that the role of like super optimist.
Correct.
Now bring them into play, and then you're going to enjoy the process because these guys who are sitting next to you, You now got a room of 3 people or 4 people, let's say, right? If you are a realist, the optimist and the pessimist, and you are yourself and the AI. I think this is as an instruction is going to come to our cohort, right? Because we have been focusing on digital scam, which are post traction stage, not the pre MVP stage. So we have not been putting this out because way back in 2021, when we were doing those cohorts, they were all pre MVP kind of stage. So that was making sense for it. Maybe a different set of instructions is going to come to say, hey, how do you really build a traction? Are you really doing it, in the right way or not? Can you go back and review your marketing, model within the AI by cross questioning, giving the data, asking it whether it is really doing it, or your teams are just throwing in number, right? So you have basically got you can use AI in many ways, right? You can say, here is my advisor. AI is my advisor. You Satya give me a data saying, Santosh, this week we ran these channels. Here are the super numbers. Okay. Now let's go back to last 7 weeks. Throw it onto your advisor AI. Say, hey, what does it make sense? What's the loop that you think that I am not able to see? Is there any loop here? Are we on the same sync? What's happening in the other side of the world? If there are related products, are they doing better? Is those data available outside? Right? Somebody got fun. I think you can do a wonderful job here. I'm going to be very honest to that. We are still early days.
Absolutely.
So everything that I'm saying, we will all like to build it. But I think that's the beauty. The beauty in earlier days is that you have to depend upon a high-paying consultant, a bunch of consultants to get you right.
Absolutely.
High performance consultant. Can you create that kind of environment with yourself and with the AI tool? You can.
Yes.
Right.
Awesome.
If you're a process mindset guy, oh my God, you're going to build a fantastic world in right in front of you.
I think this is possible these days with this AI agentic tools. Like what AI agentic, there are a lot of instances where they are creating two personas for you. One is an advisor persona and another one is a believer or a non-believer persona, wherein you throw in your idea and one tries to counteract the idea, brings out the gaps. And those agents are specifically backed by those by using those LLMs like Perplexity or other things with a perfect goal. So I think with a lot of founders have actually gone to this process where they're putting up the ideas. One side they have those agents contradicting it, another side they have agents supporting it, another agent is trying to find out the other side of the realms. And in a way, the final idea which comes is a cohesive one which has gone through the processes of all the negation and all, and it's a final one. I think that was not possible earlier because you have to find somebody who is actually very good at the startups and they have to give you some time and by the time you receive you will be almost like 3 months down the line and you would have missed the bus.
I met on this line, I would like to add in there, I met a founder yesterday who has been now doing AI studio, venture studio, right? I met him. We are there
Nice.
sitting down together. He said, Santosh, what we used to take 4, 5, 6 months to develop product is taking 40 days now. The AI tool is and Rashmi is playing with it, a lot of tools, right? You're just jumping in and creating so much of code and assembling and getting the product out. So the question there is that a lot of agents are going to be super smart. The trick is who can market it well.
I think that is true. I think the main important part is these agents are going to be smart by interacting with you. The more and more you feed them, it will be more and more self-learned they will become and more assistants they would become. Like you don't need a full-fledged team like to start or build an MVP. You can actually have a one or two highly focused members and along with those assistants or agents which you create, collaborate on you on a real time 24/7 they would be available to you giving you live feedback, and I think all of them will be collaborating in the same space. That is what I think like, a lot of innovations are happening. The public has released this assistant and with the team spaces wherein you can actually go and do all this researches, and DeepSeek and other companies are also bringing this research and reasoning agents wherein you are working towards the same goal and helping you to build faster. I think this is going to unlock the productivity to the next level.
Amazing. I think there are a lot of things that and like you mentioned, right? So you develop biases when you start hearing the same theses or same hypothesis that you have been holding being shared by others. And I will not get into that territory right now because many things you said is something that me and Satya, we have been talking repeatedly. And that's why you see him so excited. And I, on the other side, I'm trying to play the pessimist role more often now because
That's the
that
only
is,
way.
huh.
That's the only
And
way. A lot of get that. Actually, a lot of founders don't get that, right? So a lot of founders
yeah,
think that either you are on my side, you are not on my side. But I think best founders are always come back with a thesis to say what makes you to say that, right?
Correct.
And what could go wrong, right? I think those are the sort of 2-3 things where with AI, with agentic, when Satya just talked about it, I think you have now multiple agents at your plate. So you would require still a buddy or an advisor to oversee or play roles in addition to your agentic one. You don't need bunch of them. And also we know we are not getting limited by emotions. Right?
Correct.
People are not able to even do emotions because they get emotional by saying that, oh, am I going to say no to Rashmi here? Come up with a great idea. Your agent doesn't give a shit about it. It says, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to, give me data. I'm going to come back. I can go and do a research and I'll come back. Right? So I think we are entering a beautiful stage of building a right products as such, right? And building product is also going to be easier, easier as such. Right? So how you going to really, come up with that initial thesis, insights, and then plug it. The entire agents are all ready for you. Plug one after another one to take you to market.
Correct.
absolutely.
So this is interesting. One of the things that is also coming into picture is how to effectively use these agents to your benefit, like training those agents. And we have seen the recent trend of use of synthetic data for training these agents. It's become like synthetic data is like a AI's protein shake, great for building muscles, but you risk of bloating it up, because if you take it in a wrong proportion and all, something else will come up and you'll have those gastritis and bloating. So that is something which I wanted to hear from you. What is your take on the using of synthetic data to train this models and making this agent? Shall we have this human training them, use synthetic data training them, or it could be a best of both? What are the thoughts on
We are
that?
having the podcast today because I was in a session yesterday. Also, educating myself right on this exactly the same topic that the venture studio is talking about, or the GCC is talking about. There's a GCC AI talking about around.
Correct.
And so if you look at synthetic data in the same way that in the old world you needed frameworks to get you up and running, either by convention or by configuration. Right? So you have a convention, right? Ruby on Rails, you get it out, or a configuration or Java to get it out, right? So, and people will live. But in both cases, you had a framework to get you up and running. It cannot be your pillars on all sides. They are going to be definitely, you need to fill them up and you need to decide what you want to fill them in with.
Correct.
Right? So similar way, synthetic data, you're only going to do some conventions, some configuration to get started because you want to get started. See, all of us always in the pursuit of saying, can my get started be reduced? Right?
Correct.
All the innovations are saying, can I reduce your get started? Open your Mac, you start a new go. Right? So same way, synthetic data is going to give you get started only, but it cannot be your entire truth. Right? So you will now get people. So I think, we are talking, and I'm sure years from now we'll reflect back. I think you will have a lot of agencies coming out saying, I expertise on this synthetic data, on insurance, on healthcare, on this sort of healthcare, industry-specific synthetic data. But we specialize on getting real-world insights and real-world missing pieces into the synthetic data. That's the expertise that we were going to bring onto the table. So you as a product company owner or a solutions, you're going to use my solutions to ensure that you are getting started to really go to the market is gap is filled up.
The cold start problem.
Synthetic data is going to give you, but the real, not ensuring that you are not missing out the real world cases is going to be a little bit of oversee, right? Oversee expertise to figure out that what does the synthetic data doesn't have, what does the industry says, what has been changing, what are the latest in the last, let's say, in last 1 hour, right? To that, we'll have to help you and get you to the market. And beyond that, you're going to either have your team to do the data side of the optimization all the time, or you can use my services to do it. That's
Yeah,
how.
the fine tuning the models and building up the systems to make
So
that.
hence, we're also going to see a lot of hype on just using this is a fantastic question. A lot of people are just going to go to the market with synthetic data. I would say there will be a catastrophic failures coming in. There's no way this is going to really matching with the world. In the same way, you can launch something with some sort of get started thing, but it's not going to scale you. So you need to have. It's not that you need to be doing scaling on day one, but you need to have a scale mindset. Say, I know where things are going to fail. I'll come and address it, or I'll get it so that I know I can only serve 10,000 people right now. If I reach out continuously 10,000 every day, I'm going to figure out a way to scale. So I think we're going to see that kind of pattern here also in this form.
Yes, sir.
I think, yeah, that's something which is going to be really beneficial for us. I think this was started by the DeepSeek team, like who actually built this model in 2 months, 2 to 3 months by using synthetic data more precisely. I think, and that has changed the entire level. That I have started using DeepSeek quite an often. I see the reasoning capabilities are different than the Chat GPTs and the cloud. They have different perspectives. But I think that also brings me to a beautiful question: is that how come this competition has changed drastically with this entrance of Chinese LLM like DeepSeek? We see Quen from Alibaba. We have also seen the small LLMs which are actually specializing on a vertical use cases. What do you see that?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty that we are operating, right? So look, when all of us have seen data centers, right? We've lived in data centers, right? I wouldn't say slept, but I dozed in data center way back in the early 2000. Right? So you had a cabin, you had to go and you ensure that the servers are up and running. To all the way to 2010 when your cloud came in. When cloud came in to 2014, when we couldn't even afford cloud prices, and then suddenly there is a reduction on hardware, right? So I think AI, for that matter, has a great hardware optimization need, right? Which is how NVIDIA GPU made the world believe that you can do, but then there is not everybody can do GPU. Maybe that is the first wave of GPU, and hence when DataSeek came in, they say that you can do in a simple Huawei A900 or A9000, I believe, in a server. And now Stanford is doing something and saying, okay, you can do it in $50. So I think we are now going suddenly to say, and Mark Anderson has a tweet yesterday, I think, to say, look, the world understands how do you do AI. Everything is open. So it should be open. Right? That is which I really strongly believe. So hence we are going to see a fantastic R&D and fantastic fight among innovators to say who can afford, who can offer cost optimized AI solutions.
Correct.
Right?
I think that is the
In my mind, I love Data6 coming in because as a technologist, as a startup guys, we all love the fact that technology should be available to all. Right? Technology should not be limited by who has money. Right? It's the opportunity that we are creating. So Data6 coming in is a great leveler to say that you can do this on a lower cost, and sure, cost is going to go down.
yeah. I think they have shown us the way,
Yes,
and
so
correct.
I,
And
I think we should be expecting Indian model, which is, for a lack of a better term, Me Too of DataSeek coming out in the next few months, sooner than later. Actually, we should see that.
it's and all of us, right? We have been technologists, we have been using, right? All of us have been using technology as such. Look at, do you think in today's world, the best performing websites with millions of people, millions of downloads would have happened without that Apache, Nginx, all those web servers? They truly democratized the web. Yes, we can give the credit to HTML web search, but the truly democratization happened when people said this is available to you. You want to build a web logic on that? You want to build a JMOS server on that? You want to build an Apache on that? Go build it. So I think the fact is that hardware side, there's going to be always innovation. AI is a new way for the hardwares to really go back to their owners, create a new industry for them. Right? The NVIDIA showed us one example, why 8000 AI, So I think we'll see a range of hardwares now. For this
Yeah.
AI, need this. Fantastic, right? Because it's a new, it's a new market. It's a new industry altogether for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and if
we
I
are all
if I connect this with Web3, so AI is essentially democratizing us with the thinking and access to all these models and thought processes. On the other side, Web3 is giving us public databases. Blockchains is public databases, which essentially people can use, retrieve data, and both of them combined is a very powerful combination.
100%. I think, what we are debating in Web3, Rasmi, in terms of the TPS, in all, I think in another 5-6 months, there is going to be a massive, somebody going to come and, use AI in such a way that you'll be just saying what TPS we are talking about. TPS is taken care, and million TPS is taken care, because you need a GPU movement in Web3, right? In the blockchain private, database side of it. And I think it's going to happen there. So I'm not worried about that, but I think what truly should have speeded up on the user experience on Web3 has not happened. Right? Then we are still talking about chain
Or use
abstraction.
cases. Or
Use
use
cases.
cases. See,
Use
so
cases,
I see my
right? I think we
biggest
get a lot more. Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you look at, I think we optimize a lot more on gas and less on user onboarding, those kind of things, right? So I think that should have been that should be the equally case for with AI coming in. I think we should simply abstract it and say user onboarding, get user. Look, why did mobile just made life so easy? Open, give your number, OTP comes in, you're done. Boss, I don't need to tell anybody. My mom can easily operate any mobile app.
See, I have a little different take. So if you see it this way, AI is not a new technology, right? AI has been there for 20 years. If I remember that back in my days, I was also saying, okay, we have to design an AI engine. We have to look into the training data. We have to see how to model the training data, learning, and then see what kind of things will respond out, right? But what Gen AI or ChatGPT did, it converted all that tech into very simple user experience with the API based things. So let's say an InVideo or a Flicky or any other, which are called as wrapper products on ChatGPT, are actually doing API calls to these engines, these OpenAI or the Clouds or the Anthropics of the world, getting the response and serving it to the user, right? Mm-hmm. That equivalent is not present in Web3 today. Web3 is in 20 years back, where everyone is trying to figure out and building all the layers required to serve a Web3 product out, which was the case for AI earlier.
True. I think that's a fantastic analogy. I agree with that.
Santosh, one of the interesting trend that is coming up here is everybody is having this in India, is having a FOMO. India has missed the bus. Like there has been 3 waves of AI, and the third wave, which is actually the so the 4 waves is it's already that we are losing the bus. So we are planning to catch the bus on the 5th wave, so we're already on the bus station. So that's what it is. But what do you think? Have we really missed the bus, or is it that like we have been waiting for things to mature before taking it up? What are your thoughts on that?
I think I'm an optimist all the time. So I'm going to I would say that we are slightly lucky. We just got lucky this year with the data set coming in, right? And we slightly got lucky to say that, yes, there is a slight door open. There is just, there is like, in the Hindi, say particularly, right? There is a slight door open. You can take that and reach out to that destination fastest. So I'm sure, as Rashmi also said, I'm sure people are pumping on right now, getting fantastic brains and doing something from somewhere. But that small road got opened by saying, hey guys, don't worry about cost. It's not costlier. It's all the intent, right? And truly, India, because AI is now coming at a stage where it is going to be available for everybody, right? Every user, every use cases. So I think we cannot miss the bus in terms of doing foundation also and doing agentic apps also. You cannot simply do one. See, we are not living in a world. So let's be honest about it.
Correct.
That the world is today tech first world. To run a country, you need tech. To solve a country, you need tech. Your user is going to say, am I solved? They need a tech. So it cannot depend. That world is gone where you cannot simply say, okay, somebody else picture the car. I have money. I'll just buy the car. No, you have to manufacture yourself.
Yeah, I think we should be doing that.
Yeah, I think I'll have one more analogy which I'm while hearing I came remember. So India, we have always been proud of one thing, that India bypassed the landline revolution and jumped directly to mobile, right? We adopted mobile like no one's business in the world, right? So, and we have been giving that analogy like how we bypassed it. Now, if we look at business adoption of IT or software, 99% of Indian businesses, or for that matter, you can call it a hospital clinics, you can say retail businesses, you can say any small and medium business, right? They have not adopted software to a large extent, right? While the market for software is huge in the West, the market for in India is very small. So that's why all the SaaS businesses were actually focusing on Western market versus Indian market. Yes. Because the Indian market was non-existent, right? Yeah. Can we think or hope that will bypass the SaaS revolution and directly go into AI revolution as businesses here, or we are not there yet?
So I think it's a good point, right? And again, this is going on severe debate even yesterday. So I think I'll bring Mark Anderson again back to here, right? So if you go back to his tweet where he says that people really say that robots are going to come and take out our jobs, computers are going to come make people redundant, banks are going to be taken off, all that was told, right? Today, everything is 10x, 20x, right? Literally it created several industries out of it, right? I'm just drawing that analogy to come back to that question. Now, if you look at today, and this was a debate yesterday with a company which does ERP implementation or large-scale CRM implementations, he said, right, that Santosh, there are so many SMEs, they cannot afford a large-scale SAP. So costliest even to do the services. Now, if you look at even same way, I like and to bring you to connect your analogy, a lot of Indians are always want to own something.
Correct.
Like,
ownership thing.
Ownership. We have an ownership mentality, right?
Yeah.
Even if you say rent it, I want to buy it.
Yeah.
No, I want to buy it, right? So that's the mentality that we are in. The savings mentality, rent it, no rent it, why can I buy it and all. So to come back to that point, I think truly when your cost is reduced from $1,500 a year to, let's say, a $250 a year, right? Because with agentic interface, you can now afford a solution that you can deploy at a cost. Again, we are not going to, cost might be higher or lower, we'll talk about it. But you can truly own it without paying somebody a royalty, right? And that is your thing. It's going to understand your business. It's going to make your business better. So even the neighbor Kirana shop doesn't have to, is going to, is going to live in his own home or her home. You're still better off. I think we are going to be in that world where we will have hundreds and thousands of agentic softwares are created for users on their own way. There will be somebody who will create for it or find out a way to create for it. But I will have to go to the market. I will have to deploy that, own it, optimize it, improve it, customize it for my business segment, and I'm going to live with it. So a lot of people have not in India, a lot of people have now, we're not building out another, no, I don't want to give my data. That website is going to take it over. Give me a call. I think we might find, will it happen in one sort of across? May not be, but will it happen for a lot of people? If you can afford an agentic interface, I think it's going to happen.
Correct. And I think one thing that we are also heading towards is instead of these apps being there, we are looking at agents which are there across, wherein agents are interacting with agents with their own clauses and conditions. The contract within the agents has to be there so that they take care of the data that has to be transferred or trained and all. And each agent, the beauty of that is each agent would be trained uniquely for that particular customer and all, and you don't need to specify. Like we used to have those sales agents talking and interacting with other businesses. We would have these agents doing that, and that is an area I think where it is going to be next step. So what I also think here is SaaS is not going to end. It is going to be evolve into the agentic space with a different pricing model, with different contract and different kind of a analogy and term. We are going to heading towards a different world that we are looking at. That's what I.
That's why I had one more point to go back to Rashmi's point. The analogy that you gave it is a perfect one because from an Indian psyche point of view, anything that we invest, we want full paisa also.
Rent, neither. So SaaS is rent.
So the moment
I want to own.
the moment I tell them on phone that here is a phone in your home, it will be installed, but it cannot move, and I'm going to pay 1,500 rupees. Versus a phone that you can carry anywhere, give call anytime. Give away 7 UAVs. She's going to opt for it.
Correct.
To go back to that world, maybe the owning mentality in India, if we can get AI agents solved in such a way that I can own for $30 per month, but I'm going to get 3,000 out of it. Nobody's going to question me because I made 3,000, I get my 5,000, I made 10,000, but I'm only spending $30 because it is my agent. Right? Or it is going to, it could play out. Right? We'll see this. We'll see this in 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Right? But I think there is an opportunity to bring at a scale to play.
Correct. Correct.
So rather than selling a subscription business, which brings a mindset of renting, you can say you are buying an agent, and then this value of this agent is going to grow x 3x next over the next 1-2 years. Then that it'll be more adoption. You can see then the entire mindset of Indian businesses of, oh, I'm owning this agent. This agent is mine. It is appreciating asset. I'm going to get more in the future. So let me own it right now. Right?
I think we're going that.
Yeah.
Because truly we as a society have done that, right? We as a society done that. Okay, if I've been investing in farming, I want to own that. If I'm investing in helping, I want to own that. I think, and literally for a lot of cases also, yes, SaaS has given a great form factor for countries which can afford that sort of extra money. In India and many South Asian countries, or even Africa or global South for that matter, right? Global South is only rising from a developing to a developed world at some point of time. So I think agentic interface is going to take off in a big way in the global South. It's going to be great in the global North, but global South agentic is going to take take a sort of super leapfrog because you have micro businesses here.
So Santosh, I have also got an interesting insight to share. Now with this renting model and the ownership model, there is another model which is also coming up in this agentic models, the outcome-based pricing. People are paying for the fulfillment of the tasks. Like in the SaaS, like you buy something and use it for a month. You use it or don't use it, you don't pay. But then there is also another model which talks about the outcome. Like I want to do certain task and I will pay for that task itself. Task-based planning, the pricing.
I think there is an opportunity there. It is both. It's a good to have, but it's equally a painful lack of growth for businesses also, right? For example, if you know for sure, Satya, all of us, we know that if you rent it, you're going to get $10,000. But if you're going to do an outcome-based thing, so the dependency is on them, not you.
Correct.
Right? You're still putting your infrastructure in play, and it is still available. You're owning that cost, but you're only going to be making money if it gets rented or if it gets used, right? Or there's an outcome happen. So I think the business equations are going to change, right? Maybe in that world we are going in to say that, hey, there is a CRM, right?
Correct.
Or there is a project management. If you don't ask the project, you don't pay. But if your project gets done fully, right, with all these combinations, you would pay certain money to back me. I think we would see a lot of experimentation on project on this basis because when you draw the points, creating products are going to be easy. Hence, everybody is going to compete on finding out what's the right model to address a set of customers. So I think we're finding out subscription model, outcome-based model, right? Both coexist. And then depending upon who takes off, the other folks also going to go towards outcome. Because suddenly, right, if you, like, for example, if you remember, Basecamp launched a suite of product. I forgot it last year, right? If you remember, Basecamp.com came up with a new domain called OWM, something like that, where they said that you don't pay us per month, right? You pay us for hosting or something like that. You know, it's a good article. I'm not able to recall it, but there is a good one. It is not taken off, by the way. They tried it. As I understand, it is not taken off. But yeah, so you will be able to see that outcome-based model, maybe outcome-based model in agentic interface, wherever there is a task involved. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, could be possible that I am buying a car and I like to, as Indians, we like to own a car because I'm owning it. And I know that it is going to depreciate over a period of time, but I know I can own it for, let's say, 10 lakhs now and then sell it off for 9 lakhs, 6 lakhs tomorrow, right? But the sense of ownership is mine.
Yes.
And then there is maintenance schedule out there, whatever it is, right? The same way we can have a agent ownership model now, and it could either appreciate in a period of 2-3 years from now or depreciate. But there has to be a kind of an outcome at the end, like I can sell it and get something at the end, right?
I think that's a brilliant insight. I
That's
think that's
a model
brilliant.
which can have.
Yeah, I think
yeah, I think it is correct.
Yeah, and I think if platforms come in that way to say that you run the agent is yours, right? The way we go and get a car, right, from Mahindra, from Maruti, from whoever it is, and I can buy the car, use it, and sell it if Satya wants to take it or anybody else. But if you create a platform and you say you are not renting, right, you're buying it, so I'm giving you an agent. The agent is optimized for your business, your data, your thing. The frameworks I've given you, like let's say as a platform or as a creator. And maybe when you sell it, you might able to give me 10-20%, or I'm going to continue to support because it's the same Maruti or same Mahindra. So Satya is going to get the same benefit. So you carry forward. I'm anyway going to get usage from Satya's usage, right? So
Correct.
unless you go and build, unless if you go and build it, great, right? So
you can build your
own
own car. You can build your own car or buy my car, come to my service centers to serve so that it is operating properly and use it.
Yes.
Once your use is done or you want to upgrade, sell that and get a second one, right?
Correct.
Truly, I think truly this is coming. There is no reason why it shouldn't come, because if we are going to say, look, the only way we are going to create a best performing agent is that something that is truly understands your data, your domain, your problem statement, your customers. So you have added value. The way I run a best running restaurant, and I'm only going to be handing it over to Satya because he wants to run that business now. Now, in a way, he should be paying me premium, right? So I own it and I get it done.
I
Interesting.
think that is a great moat for an AI startup that is going to be, because
I think we have hit a good idea here. I think we have.
I would throw
moat
a
because
spanner here again. I would throw a spanner here again, right? If you remember, I was talking about multiple levers operating in a startup. Now, this is one more lever called the pricing lever, right? And this model is not found yet. So I would say this lever works great if all the other things are constant.
Well, I'm just add pointer here, Rashmi. I think you have hit a good idea there. Because if you look at, so let's play out a agentic on an insurance, right? So in the insurance agents, I am of high caliber. I got an agent developed for myself. I run my business. I have everything inside my agent, right? Now, tomorrow somebody wants to acquire. You can acquire the agent. You're not acquiring me. You are acquiring the agent. I'm giving you the business, right? So you are able to transform, you are able to give the business, give the agent to somebody else, or you're going to coexist with the other agents, right? Because if you're going to create an entity out of it, right? So saying,
So
okay,
I think this is something we need to deep dive more, because this is
yeah,
going in a very different tangent altogether. Okay.
I think it's a good thing that we are hitting it out. Very
Yeah.
good thing we are hitting.
We should be. So this is why I love talking, right, to founders, to entrepreneurs, because you always come up with something new.
I think Santosh, this is a great idea, and I think one of the things that recently came into the discussion was HubSpot's CPO Yamini and Dharmesh. They're talking about this unstructured data that exists with each agent, and this unstructured data, the ability to sell this unstructured data to train the new agents. That is, so if somebody wants to start a new business in the insurance, just imagine, like, if you can get those already trained interactions, which can actually help you get rid of this cold start problem. That is something which is going to be an interesting insight, right?
No, yeah, I saw that. I've been reading Dharmesh, some of the pointers that he's setting it out. I think truly what we have been doing is preserving the data, and we only have been depending upon people to be proactively making sense of. And then there are businesses who are in the business of proactively making data, such as the McKinsey of the world and others of the world, right? I think truly agentic and AI is going to be a leveler to say, don't do anything. I will do it for you. 24 by 7 across industries. So I think we would see a much more effective world in variety of things, industries as such, because of our inability or the way we are designed. Right? Human being is designed to be more social, spend 7-8 hours in the office, do something if it falls in your domain. Agents are free. They can do beyond what you asked, as long as you put the ethical parameters in. I'm sure they would derive a lot more data and make more efficient business creation as such.
Correct. I think you hit the nail right on the head. This is something which is going to evolve as we talk, and I think this is something which is going to be exciting phase, because more and more companies adopt it. I think more and more insights we will get, and I think this is where businesses are heading towards. That is something which we are going to be the next future of all our tech startups. That is going to be. So with that, Santosh, like, we are approaching to the end of this session, and it was really great insight. We will love to connect with you again after a couple of sessions to see how things have spanned out, because you have seen that in past couple of weeks, every week there has been a disruption, and down the lane, I'm thinking 1 month down the lane, we will see more such disruptions happening, and it will be lot of thesis that we are talking about might have come into reality by that time. But with that, like, I just wanted to understand the last for here, like, what are your thoughts and suggestions for founders who are just trying to start, and how do they start using AI for the betterment? What are your 2 cents on that?
I think today, somebody starting today, I would say, don't start the old way. Right? I think the old is certainly at that line. So even if you start today, maybe if you are better off starting in another after 4 months, after 6 months. Right? So you're in that transition. So be very careful not creating an old way, such as old way research, old way documenting, old way collaborating, old way of designing the UX, right? All that old way of pricing, all that is right here versus the new world that is emerging with agentic way that we're going to go in. Think in terms of what the user experience could be, research as much as you can, learn as much as you can. I've been told a lot of Valley companies are thinking very AI fast right now, right? There is no cost advantage anymore, right? You can't just play just because you're bringing out in India. You cannot simply say, oh yeah, my cost of operating is going to be low. What are you talking about? I can use an AI and get that software developed in $400. I'm not going to pay $1 million to do it. So cost advantage is gone. So think in that way, agentic fast, fantastic way to research, make use of tools, and figure out how you can get all of distribution in a new way. And again, distribution is also going to be created, maybe creator level, maybe influencer level distribution is coming out in a different way, right? So I think truly we are back to rethinking what's best way to build a startup. Even if we are in the advanced set of technology, but the technology landscape is changing so fast, you cannot build in the old. That's my
Correct.
suggestion.
Thank you. I think this is a really insightful discussion. And I urge all these founders or viewers who are actually viewing this show, reach out to Santosh for any guidance or inputs that you would require. And Santosh, what is the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I'm always active on the X or Twitter, Santosh Panda handle it. And great if you would like to follow on LinkedIn, again, Santosh Panda. If you look out for building and Web3 and AI related startup, go to foundership.hq.com. Email us. Happy to chat you there. We are also super active on the Telegram on the same Foundership handle. So we are across. Feel free to reach us, and we will love to guide you both in terms of saying do spend more time and researching, because it is easy to be supportive of founders, but it is tough to be making sense of them and ensuring that they are in the right direction. So we want to be on the other side to say we want to be right, upfront and frank, and not just be nice and not give you a good direction.
Absolutely. I think this is the need of the hour, because with the latest trending technology that are coming up, that it needs to be a proper guidance on how we should be leveraging the AI. All the details that Santosh has just mentioned will be on our podcast links that will be below. And also, I would request all of you to join our Agentic AI Conclave collective, which we have launched in LinkedIn. Santosh, I'll also send you an invite, where we are posting latest happenings on the Agentic AI that is happening around the world as well as in India. And specifically, we'll have all the founders that are working in this agentic space collaborating and posting their thoughts on that place. We are aiming to make India the leader in the agentic AI space with the leeway or the particularly that we are getting it. We are all should be utilizing that and building the next, the DeepSeeks and the ChatGPT are probably the best that what is yet to come. And with that, I will end this session, and thank you, Santosh, for being a part of this. And we will hope to connect with you soon to hear more about your insights on how AI is affecting all the startup ecosystem.
Thank you, Satya. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you, Santosh.
To be here.
Bye. Thank you for tuning on to the Founder Stories. We hope today's session with our incredible guest was interesting and inspiring. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Stay tuned as we continue to bring the stories of more extraordinary founders, explore their groundbreaking strategies, and showcase the latest AI tools and innovations that are shaping the future. Until next time, keep dreaming big and turning challenges into opportunities. See you in the next episode.